Hi, it's Kshamica MD. According to the NHTSA, which stands for National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, texting while driving is 6 times worse than driving while drunk. 6 times worse. And the same federal agency basically explains that if you send or receive a text, so even just reading a text that you receive takes your eyes off the road for an average of 4.6 seconds. And this, they say, is equivalent, if you're driving 55 miles per hour, it's equivalent to driving the length of a football field blindfolded. It's really that bad, and this is statistically shown. There's also a study from Harvard that shows every year there's 3,000 deaths caused by texting and driving, and more than 300,000 injuries per year. Unfortunately, texting has replaced drunk driving as the #1 cause of deaths and accidents in teenagers, which is a pretty big statement to say. 50% of adults as well admit to texting. Also, statistics show if you do text and drive, you're 23 times more likely to get in an accident had you not been texting. So think about some reasons not to text and drive besides these accident and death statistics I've given you. First of all, in many states, it's illegal. Secondly, if it's on your police report that you were texting, your insurance rates can go up or you can be dropped altogether. You have to consider the health and well-being of your passengers. When you're driving, you're responsible for them. You're also taking some responsibility for the other cars on the road, so you want to be aware and give them safety as well. Also think about pedestrians. Pedestrians are usually smaller than vehicles, so they're harder to see. Now, a lot of us text when you're in a traffic jam, or traffic is slow, or there's no cars at all, the road is wide open, or you're at a red light, or you just think it's just very quick and you can get away with it real quickly. Well, just to let you know, all of the people who have been involved in car accidents involving injuries and deaths also thought that their text message was probably going to be quick and harmless. So they took their eyes away from the road, looked down at their phone, either sent or received a text, and they ended up in an accident, which, as you know, accidents can change your life forever, whether it affects you or it affects someone else. If you harm someone else, if you cause someone else's death, you're responsible for that. Either it can wipe out, in addition to all the emotional issues that come along with that, it can also wipe out your bank account and all future earnings. So it's a very big responsibility. As most of you know, I'm involved with DUI educational programs, and the stories I hear from people who have been drinking and driving, who have been responsible for car accidents and deaths, the stories are pretty horrific, how these things live with them forever, and how what resulted was caused by them drinking and driving. And that's pretty much what's happening with texting as well, especially since texting has replaced drinking and driving as a major cause of accidents and injuries. So really consider not texting and driving. And actually, as my dad reminded me as well, it's not just texting and driving, also looking at the Maps program. If you use Google Maps or Waze or any sort of app on your phone with a map, oftentimes we also find ourselves looking down for directions. Maybe we took a wrong turn, the map is changing us and we look down. So it's the same concept. Basically anything that takes our eyes off the road. Ways to prevent this is one, when you get in the car, you can just place your phone a place that is not accessible. You can't grab it. And usually if you have a Bluetooth connection in your car, that's okay because you can still send and receive phone calls and be on the phone, but you can't physically touch your phone to actually distract you. That's one way. Another way is it just takes a few seconds to pull over. That's something I do actually. I just pull over really quickly. And if it's something that really needs to be attended to, an email or a text that your distance of driving is so long that it really makes sense for you to respond to this right now, then pull over and handle it, and then come back to the road when you're safe. Another something to do, which is something I experimented with a friend, is have someone you're accountable to. As in, okay, this week, every time, you shouldn't be texting and driving, but every time you do, this is what happens, or you owe me this. And that is a deterrent as well. There's many things we can do, and you can be creative with it, but just find a way to stop texting and driving. And always remember that statistic that it's 6 times worse than driving drunk. And for many of us, there's no way we would ever drive while drunk. And you have to just try to implement that same mindset when you're even considering reaching for your phone to send or receive a text or spend time on the Maps program or any other app on your phone. This is Kshamica MD from KshamicaMD.com. I hope you learned some interesting statistics about texting and driving.